You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Sounds like some bad movie.
All right, now we're going to talk about Inception.
Inception, which sounds like a perfume.
Yes, it does.
Inception.
Are
you dreaming or are you not? Only he will know. Inception.
The problem with talking about Inception is we really can't fucking talk about it. You know, we really can't.
Okay, we can and we can't.
We can't give away any plot points. We can't talk about the ending. We can't talk about the middle of the film.
I disagree to an extent.
We can't talk about the beginning of the movie. You know, it's just
yes, we can.
Yeah, to an extent.
Broad. Now, here's my point. This is not a film. This film does not have really unnoticeable or unpredictable plot twists.
Okay.
This is not that kind of film, right? This is not Sixth Sense. This is not, oh, I didn't see that coming. You kind of see stuff coming to an extent.
Sure.
I think we can talk a bit about the film.
And I really don't think it's as complicated as everyone is making it out to be.
No. Well, let's...
Specifically, Sandy Kenyon.
Let's go with this. Why don't you talk a little bit about Sandy Kenyon?
All right, Sandy Kenyon is a piece of shit reviewer from ABC who reviewed the film, and if you notice...
Play a bit of it right now.
Okay, I'll play a little bit of it right now. Here you go.
This is a lot of movie for the money, but it's just not as good as everyone says it is. Yes, it will provoke plenty of conversation around the water cooler. But to be truly great, I think a movie must engage your mind and grab your heart. It must make sense and leave you thoroughly entertained. Now, judged by these admittedly high standards, Inception fell short and felt to me a lot like homework.
Really? Right. Nobody likes homework. Right. With no right answers. You're too smart, Sandy.
No,
you're too smart for these movies.
Maybe not smart enough, as it turns out.
Oh, yeah, I don't think so.
So, you know, basically you get the gist from what we just heard was that he's dumb. He didn't understand it. He's confused.
He spends the whole trailer complaining that it was too complicated and too hard to follow and
yeah, it just and one
gives,
of the things that
gives away a plot point in the
yes,
review
he did,
too.
which we didn't play.
We didn't play,
but
yeah.
You know,
which by the way, I guessed at the beginning of the film,
right?
But that doesn't mean everybody's going to guess that.
Sure.
So you don't give that away in your review unless you're a snide, spiteful little prick.
Right.
I'm not saying he is,
but you know the thing of it too is he also mentions about how all the dreams have multiple layers, and there's you know that's not it.
Now see that's
the thing,
and I've dealt with this in the past.
You know, the dreams don't have to have multiple layers. You know what I mean? They don't. But specifically in this movie, that was the direction that it was going.
Now, when critics make mistakes like that, where
right.
they misrepresent a film in their little like 2-minute snippet on
right.
TV, what happens is you can tell they saw the film, they already had a bad review in mind.
Right.
He's already given this movie a bad review. So he's not even paying attention to the film because otherwise he wouldn't be making grave mistakes that are explained in the film, like saying, oh, dreams have layers. Like, no, they don't. These guys create the layers when they're trying to pull what is basically a con
right.
in someone's dream.
Mm-hmm.
So automatically you know this guy's a prick just because he's not paying attention to the film he's reviewing. He's reviewing it while he's watching it.
Yeah,
he's picking out what he can complain about.
And one of the things that he did say in his review that he's 100% right about is that he's not smart enough to review this movie.
No, he's not. Now, you didn't notice, but while you were complaining about this guy, I did my own little research.
Uh-huh.
We have another reviewer we hate called
Stephen Whitty.
Stephen Whitty. And so when you're complaining about this guy, it's like, I haven't heard any bad reviews, and I need to know, and this guy's trashing it. I'm like, let me see what Stephen Whitty has to say.
Yeah, was this one of his 2.5 star reviews?
Guess how many stars Stephen Whitty gave this film?
2.5.
3.5 stars.
3.5 stars?
Yes. Mr. I hated Lord of the Rings witty loved this movie.
Really?
Yes. But he pulls the cop out because at the beginning of his review, it's like, there's 2 ways to watch this film. One way where you're angry at the end because you didn't understand it, and another way where you loved it. I'm one of the second group. So basically what he says is, you're going to love it or hate it, but I loved it. So he can't, again, because he's such a weasel, he can't say he liked the film without giving himself an out and saying, well, yeah, you might not like this, but I thought it was good. Weasley bullshit.
Gotcha.
I haven't read the whole thing out, so I guarantee he probably got some facts wrong, as he usually does.
He always does.
But
one of my favorites is the Pat Morita thing, where he basically said, one of the smartest things they did in Karate Kid was replacing Jackie Chan with Pat Morita. That's because he's fucking dead.
Yeah. Well, he did that with Inglourious Bastards, too.
Yeah.
How come they didn't get the original cast guy? He said, well, no, they tried. I found out in 2 seconds. 5 minutes of research, I found out that they tried to get him, but he was busy, so that's why they did a fake soundtrack of his, you jackass. But anyway, he's on the ball with this one.
Right.
When Stephen Witty even gives the movie like 3.5 stars,
Right.
Like,
yeah. I know where you're going. I think everybody knows where you're going.
You're a moron. And by the way, I saw this film with people who are normally confused by really complex sci-fi films,
right? And
they had no problem following this.
Oh yeah, I had absolutely no issues following this movie. I don't want to say even plot twists because it's not even that.
There are no plot twists.
It's just the graduation of where they're going in this movie. It's just they go one step, then they go another step, then they go another step.
They add layer upon layer.
Exactly,
upon layer.
and it's not hard to follow.
No, it's really spelled out. It's spelled out without being insulting.
Right, and
which is hard for sci-fi.
Right, and the thing is, and this is where we were going before with our public being stupid. You know, I hate to say it, but if you cannot follow this movie, if you do not understand this movie at the end of it, you are stupid.
But I haven't heard anybody talking about that except Mr. Sandyman.
No, I did some research on IMDb, and there are some stupid people out there.
Well, yeah, but then that's why.
You know, and then there's the ending that we can't actually talk about.
That's
but
why
we will talk
money,
about
sir.
it when we're done. Yes, that is exactly why Grown Ups is making money. That's exactly why Grown Ups gets made in the first place.
Now, the one thing...
You know, in White Chicks and all these fucking stupid, scary movies and you know, the spin-offs of those.
Calm Blue Ocean. Calm Blue Ocean.
I was attacked by Avatar fans. There is no more Calm Blue Ocean.
You're right, sir. It's the harsher side of Joy coming out.
Now, people are stupid. And that's unfortunate.
We have to underline, because reviews like this jackasses...
Right.
Are misrepresenting this film. There are no plot twists. Now, what I mean by that, there's no like M. Night Shyamalan things where it's where this is that. Now, for a film that involves dream states and people in dreams,
yep.
In the beginning of the film, they kind of pull that kind of, you know, is it dream or is it not, that kind of thing. Now, in a film that involves dream states, Nolan could have easily every 10 minutes pulled that shit on you. Oh, we're in a dream. Oh, we're not. Oh, we're in a dream. Oh, we're not. And it could have pissed you off and confused you and made you so disoriented that you didn't know what's going on.
And that's exactly what he didn't do.
Right. There's 2 things he did in the beginning of the film he doesn't do in the end, which I thought was genius. The first is he goes apeshit with the CGI special effects in the beginning.
He does?
Well, as far as her turning the world upside down and like doing the mirror thing, and then exploding shit.
See, what I like about Nolan is when he does use it, he uses it extremely well.
Right.
And he uses very, very little of it.
But what I'm saying is he uses a lot of it in the first half of the film to show about the dream world stuff and show the stuff. And he uses some of that kind of like, oh, is it a dream now? Is it a dream now? He pulls some of that in the first part of the film.
Okay.
Once he covers that ground, he lets it go.
It's not like that anymore.
The rest of the film... after that, it's okay.
You know where you are in the movie.
We played with that, yeah, exactly. From that point on, the film tells you we're going to be here. This is a dream. This is a dream. This is a dream. This is reality. This is a dream. Even when the plot has to do with not being able to tell, you as the audience, he makes sure you know to a certain extent that you are there. And what it is he realized that when you lie to the audience enough,
right,
they don't trust you. And if the audience doesn't trust the film, they don't get involved in it and they won't enjoy it.
Right.
He realizes that. So at a certain point, like by the second act, he says, trust me. And you do. So when you start going into, at the end of the film, I mean, this is not a spoiler.
Right.
They basically, the whole idea is they go into a dream, but then in that dream, they go into another dream. and then they go into another. So they like 3 layers of dream. They're in a dream.
They were in 4 layers.
4 by 4. So basically, they're dreaming about dreaming about dreaming about dreaming, and at no point does he try to fool you into thinking that they're actually not dreaming reality. They spell it out, and with the layers of that,
right,
he manages to build such tension because it's a ticking clock third act where they have to be done by a certain time. But it's such a well done ticking clock that each layer adds another layer of tension to the film.
Yeah.
But by the end, you are so wrapped up in, and also there's a time dilation thing because as you go deeper in the dream, it lasts longer.
Right.
Somebody's at the door.
Ah.
There's somebody at the door.
door. There's somebody at the door.
As it goes deeper and deeper, the time gets longer. So you have like 3 or 4 different storylines happening simultaneously at different speeds or different like lengths. At no point does it become confusing.
Right.
And
no, you're right. You're absolutely right, and I completely agree.
Because he's not trying to confuse you, and that's what I'm trying to get at. He does not try to confuse the audience. He tries to take the audience on a route. If he was trying to pull a, what's a good example of a film that tried to confuse people? The first one that comes to
anything by.
The first one that comes to mind is Raising Cain with John Lithgow.
Oh, John Lithgow.
Because in the first half hour of that film, they
what
pulled
about Mulholland Drive?
Anything by Stephen Lynch. Yeah.
Not Stephen Lynch.
David Lynch.
David Lynch.
Stephen Lynch is the humorous musician.
The country,
yeah.
not country.
Not country. Ha ha ha!
I didn't.
Draw. Call it a draw.
All right, it's a draw.
But yeah, like in Raising Cain, the first in like the first half hour of the film, there's like 3 moments in the film where it's like, oh, I was dreaming.
Right.
And after the third time, you're like, well, fuck it, I don't care anymore because you keep screwing me like that.
Right. No. Yeah.
And when you purposely,
God, I haven't seen Raising Cain in years.
So sloppy screenwriting, yeah, good reason for that. Sloppy screenwriting is trying to build tension and surprise by just confusing the audience and lying to them. Nolan, there's somebody at the door. There's somebody at the door. He doesn't do that. He's a good screenwriter. Uh-huh. He's masterful, so he doesn't have to lie to the audience or trick them. He tells them what's happening, and then he builds the story.
Okay.
That's my point, is that it's so well written in that regard.
It really is. It is truly a brilliant film. And, you know, we talked about Nolan before in all of his other films, but hopefully from here on in, because in my opinion, he is absolutely, I would say he's the best director working right now.
I felt that way about Gore Verbinski about 2 pirate movies ago.
Oh.
And now I'm out. No, Nolan's at the top of my list right now. He's right up there with
Zack Snyder.
Yeah, you read my mind, sir.
Right
now, these guys can do no wrong. Nolan can do no wrong. He has not done one bad. He has not done one film that I would even say, you know what? The closest I'll come to arguing with him.
Insomnia.
No, I thought he did a great.
I thought he did great on Insomnia. I'm just trying to read your mind.
Having seen the original, a lot. What are you, Dennis Quaid?
Get lost in there.
There are plenty of snake men up there. I tell you what. The only thing I would argue about in any of his films was that I still think that Dark Knight had one ending too many.
Yeah, I can agree with that to an extent, but I still enjoyed it. So I don't care. Again, I don't care.
I'm not knocking the film. I'm saying if I had any criticism on anything he's done, I maybe would have trimmed half an hour for Dark Knight. You know, maybe one.
Oh, and that's another thing about Inception.
A lot of these films have a 4th act now, and I'm tired of the 4th act.
Yeah, and that's another thing about Inception. It's a 2.5-hour movie, and it went like that.
Holy shit! I was talking about time dilation. I thought I was dreaming.
You know, it moved.
It did.
It really. When it was over, I'm like, wow, 2.5. It went really fast. And the reason why I think is because it just really grabbed you and took you in, and you just completely lost track of time. When
they set up the whole, it's almost like Ocean's 11.
Right.
Like they spend like a whole 15-20 minutes setting up the con.
Right. So
when they finally go into the what you know is the 3rd act, which is the con.
Right.
I remember looking at my watch like, are they already going into that? What time is it? It's like, it feels like we just started this film when they're already going into like the 3rd act.
Right.
And that's how good it is.
It just moved really well.
And you would think having 4 layers, like the 4 different dream layers things, where you have all these, you're setting up these ticking clocks.
Yeah.
You'd think it'd get either monotonous, boring, or overwhelming, but it doesn't. He really sets it up so well that you're just along for the ride, and while you feel the tension, you don't feel like you're being jerked around.
No, definitely not.
And that's really.
And one of the characters that's in the film that I really loved, his name is Tom Hardy is his real name, and he played Eames or Eames. It was Eames.
Eames?
Eames. EAMES. E-S.
Okay.
Okay, it's British, so I really don't know how to pronounce it.
That was a wacky Brits.
But I believe his name was Eames. He was in a film called Bronson, which you haven't seen yet, but I did. And I thought he was absolutely brilliant.
It's on my list.
Absolutely brilliant in the film Bronson. And when I saw the movie Bronson, after I saw it, I said, I cannot wait for this guy to break into American film.
I would have watched it, but I was too busy watching Twilight Eclipse and Killers.
Yeah, you lost out. But, he's actually done a couple of other American films. One being, he was in Star Trek Nemesis. He was one of the villains. His name was Prater Shinzon. But he was a no-name at that point, so I didn't recognize him. But now that I saw him in Bronson, and now that he's in this, I'm really hoping he really starts breaking into mainstream American film. And he is, because he is going to be playing Mad Max in the Mad Max remake called Fury Road. And I like this guy a lot, so I'm hoping they don't screw up Mad Max, But, I mean, how do you, after Thunderdome, I mean...
You know what?
I guess you can one go up from Thunderdome.
You can't screw up Mad Max 2, because honestly, the original is a cult film, but it is flawed.
Right. Oh, sure.
And it's not... It's one of those films where everybody talks up about it. Oh, it's great, and you go back and watch it. It's like, well, yeah, it's good, it's fun.
And
I can see why people latched onto it.
I'm a sucker for post-apocalyptic, so...
Yeah, it ain't Casablanca.
No. So he's going to play Mad Max. He's going to play Mad Max in a film called Mad Max Fury Road. So that's coming out in 2012. So we got about 1.5 to 2 years for that.
Just in time for the...
I know apocalypse.
I know it's totally off subject, but it just popped in my head. I saw the Entertainment Weekly. My parents subscribe.
Okay.
I don't read it.
Sure.
But Ryan Reynolds is on the cover. He's the Green Lantern.
Yeah.
You
didn't know that?
I'm out of the loop right now.
Plus, he's also getting.
I'm so much into old films right now. I'm like watching Lugosi films, and I'm watching old movies from the 70s.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what's going on now. I know what's happening.
What was his character in the Wolverine movie? Deadlock.
Deadpool. Yeah.
He's getting his own Deadpool movie as well.
Oh, because they already fucked that character up. So how are they going to do that? There's actually a whole contingent of angry comic book readers who are pissed that they fucked up Deadpool character.
Right.
And it's like now we're gonna do a Deadpool movie?
Yeah, it's like doing the Electra spinoff. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is in it. He'll give a solid performance.
But they already fucked up the character.
No, I know, but
they already ruined everything that was cool about the character. And they killed him. How are they gonna do? Oh,
it's probably gonna be a prequel then.
Yeah, you know what? You've already pissed off the audience, and you're making a film for them. That's a tough crowd.
Yeah,
that's a tough crowd.
You know what? They're hopefully going with the teenage audience, because I don't think anybody else is going to want to see it.
No, I disagree. I think they should go like straight action.
You think they'll fix their problems with it?
No, but I think they should still go straight action. Don't do it for a teen audience.
Okay.
Because then it's like doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at PG, so they can't cut anybody, but they all have weapons.
Okay.
And then we stick it in the ceiling, and then we do a spinning. Yeah, when you've got ninjas with swords and
Right.
no one gets cut, there's something wrong. That's like if you're gonna have topless vampires, give them nipples.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna have giant werewolves running around, give them genitalia. You can't do halfway.
No, you're right. I agree. You know who else was really a shining actor in this movie?
What's his name? The kid from
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
Or Lewitt. I forget what it is.
Yeah, Mr.
Third Rock from the Sun.
A Third Rock from the Sun.
Yeah, he was Cobra.
I love the fact that half the cast from Batman was in this movie.
Well, you know what?
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Scarecrow.
Nolan, he works with who he knows.
I know, but it's a dangerous area to get in when you keep.
Yeah, it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Michael Caine you can get away with because Michael Caine's golden. Right. But when you start putting like half your crew from the previous film,
Cillian Murphy or Cillian Murphy.
Well, if Christian Bale was in it, that would have been like the last leg, but or the last straw.
He might have a cameo. You don't even know. Like he was like somebody like in the background.
No, but what's his name you just mentioned?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
The great thing about him,
he is really showing his acting chops.
He
really is.
He's the rarest thing in the world. He's a child TV actor that actually turned out to be a good actor.
Yeah,
because
I mean, ever since I saw him in Brick,
excellent,
where he's starting to grow up. And he's
always good.
Maybe in his teens, early 20s, maybe 21.
Did you see the one before Brick where he was the kid in the audio accident who had the mental issues?
Yeah, that was the one, the bank robbery.
Yeah. Excellent film.
The great movie.
And great acting. Great acting.
That was...
He picked his
Yeah, and who was his mentor?
Jeff Daniels was in it. He played the blind guy.
Was Jeff Daniels his mentor in that?
The blind guy, yeah.
That movie was called. The hell was it called?
Looking it up on IMDb.
Yeah, I am. It was
500 Days of Summer.
No, it was called The Lookout.
Yeah, The Lookout.
Yeah, it was called The Lookout, and it was Jeff Daniels as his mentor.
But I mean, if you watch a lot of these kids, like if you watch Full House or I'm going with really old TV shows, I know because I'm an old bastard.
Sure. Well, even think about Fred Savage from The Wonder Years, or even his brother that was in Boy Meets World.
Remember when he grew up and they gave him another TV show?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, we shouldn't have done that.
They gave him a Lifetime movie where he beat up his girlfriend, which, I believe that.
That wasn't a documentary?
No.
Oh. But I mean, watching him from Third Rock, I mean, the one thing in Third Rock is he wasn't just a kid. He actually had a good comic timing, and that's always a sign of a good any good actor will have good comic timing.
Yeah.
Like we were saying before, Pierce Brosnan, he's not funny, but he can do funny.
Right. I mean, he was.
If you put Pierce Brosnan in a comedy, he has comic timing. He knows how to pull he knows how to pull it.
The irony of the whole thing is he was actually in Heath Ledger's first movie, which was 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh yeah, that's right. There'll be goats.
Yeah.
Will there be goats?
I mean, he was like a side character in that film, but he stood out because he's such a good actor.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen 500 Days of Summer, but I hear he's excellent in that.
I heard it's a chick flick for guys.
Yeah, is that okay?
I've heard it described as a chick flick for guys because
cool.
Because you really feel for him a bit because I heard it's good.
Even he was in G.I. Joe, and that was a shit movie. Which our movie challenge episode is finished. That just has to go up because we talk about that in Transformers 2.
Didn't we post that?
Nope. It's still sitting on my hard drive.
Really?
I was abducted. Did not have time to edit that one.
You didn't? You never posted that up?
Nope. That movie challenge episode is not up.
Really?
Nope.
I could have sworn it was up.
It's not up.
Well, you got to get that up because that was some good stuff there.
It definitely was.
I disagree. I think it's up.
No, it ain't up. I post everything to the site, so it's not
keep
up.
Talking.
Anyway,
I'll look.
Even in that movie, where it's a shit movie, he was excellent in it. He was like the shining moment in that movie, and I really think he did it because he was a fan of G.I. Joe, and that's the only reason why he did it because I think
he did because it was loads of money and it was a major box office film.
And I think...
And let's be fair, he's only in it for like 10 minutes.
Right.
I mean, as far as his face.
No, exactly. I mean, he's in the makeup, but...
No, it might have ruined that one for somebody.
Oh, well.
Spoiler alert, G.I. Joe sucks balls.
Yeah. You can listen to the podcast when I
was hoping to sit through the whole film for that first.
But, anyway...
Spoiler alert, Bella chooses Edward. Ha! By the way, Twilight fans just as big of pussies as Avatar fans.
Oh, really?
Or no, they're worse.
They're worse.
I challenged them. I said, all right, any of you guys out there listening to this and disagree with me, I want to hear about it. And I got angry hate mail for my Avatar review.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently the Twilight films are a bunch of wimps. They're not. I thought
it's about vampires that can sparkle.
I thought the teenage. Have you ever pissed off a teenage girl? They are brutal. They're nasty. And I assumed by trashing their film, I would at least get some kind of hate mail or something. But no, I didn't even get kicked in the shins.
No, they don't seem to really care because their movies are being made for them.
Horribly.
Yeah, poorly.
Horribly.
So,
my favorite part in Inception.
Yeah.
There's the scene near the end where Leonardo DiCaprio wakes up on the beach, and there's like this long, jagged shoreline on the side, and the first thing on my mind is, oh, fuck, I'm on Shutter Island again. He's really playing a very similar character.
He really is.
It's
he really, really is. And you know what? That Shutter Island was not supposed to come out in February. Just a mere 5 months before this one. It was actually supposed to come out in October.
But they kept pushing it.
Well, the reason why they pushed it was because Paranormal Activity was coming out, Saw was coming out.
Have you seen this? I'm sorry.
I've seen parts of the trailer for Paranormal too. Are you okay?
How bad does that look?
Yeah.
How bad does that look? Dude. I'd rather see Tangled. Come on.
Anyway, to get back on track, Shutter Island was not supposed to come out in February. It was actually supposed to come out in October for Halloween because it definitely has that kind of tension, to the film where it could fit in a Halloween, market. But the reason, they didn't was because Paranormal Activity and Saw, and there was like another film that was coming out a couple of weeks earlier. They felt that it would have had too much competition, and they did not have the marketing to push it as hard as they would have wanted to against those bona fide horror movies.
Right.
So they decided to hold it back, and then they released it in February. So there would have been more time. Between the movies if they had released it in October like they wanted. And not that they wouldn't have made that connection for Shutter Island and Inception, but it probably wouldn't have been as... Because the movies are only about 4 or 5 months apart. So it wouldn't have been as apparent.
And I'll give DiCaprio a lot of credit.
Right.
Because he came from doing... after Titanic...
Everyone really thought his career was going to... Even Stephen Dorff.
They thought Stephen Dorff, yeah. Dorff needs no helmet. Everybody thought that he was going to keep doing the pretty boy stuff, and I think he kind of rebelled against that, doing stuff like The Aviator, and then...
Gangs of New York was first.
Gangs of New York, Aviator, Blood Diamond. He really tried to escape that and do gritty films.
He has gotten...
But the Departed...
The Departed. There are plenty of people that don't like Leonardo DiCaprio.
But I think they're still hung up on young, pretty... Titanic DiCaprio, because ever since that he's really done everything he could to break the mold.
The very first movie he did after Titanic was The Island, which was directed by Danny Boyle.
That was in the wrong direction. That was the bad call.
That was directed by Danny Boyle, and so it kind of, and that wasn't even a bad film. It really wasn't. So. It's one of those things where, he could have really went downhill with his career, and I think he's just gotten consistently better.
Yeah,
I really, really do.
And honestly, I didn't watch Blood Diamonds. I never watched Gangs of New York because I'm not into gangster films or Scorsese.
Right.
But he really is good, and I feel bad for him too because how old is he now? He's got to be
he's I think he's a year younger than me. I think he's 34.
I feel sad for him because as old as he is, he still can't manage more than that peach fuzz.
Yeah.
He's sporting it. He's sporting it in his last 2 films. I was like, oh, dude, you can't even. He's got the Gary Way disease. All I can get a little throat neck hair and.
Yeah, he's he's as he's getting older, he's trying to grow more facial hair for much more mature roles, and it's difficult
because he has that kind of baby face where he needs it. That's the problem too.
Yeah,
he looks older, but with clean shaven, he really has kind of baby face, and he's going for tough, gritty characters. So normally, I would say if you can't grow a beard, don't try.
Right.
But in his case, he's got to do something.
Right.
Yeah.
His acting is that good that he can pull it off.
Shutter Island was amazing. I thought he was excellent in this.
Loved Shutter Island.
Yeah.
The soundtrack alone, which I own, just the score was just everything about Shutter Island was just everything that I think Scorsese should be doing. Mm-hmm. And I love Scorsese as a director, but Shutter Island was a departure from what he normally does. He was kind of, and I don't even want to use Cape Fear as an example, but Cape Fear was a dark film, and so was Shutter Island. But Shutter Island was on such a bigger level, as far as how dark and gritty and good that it was.
It was a psychological level. It was more of a psychological thriller.
And DiCaprio that was awesome.
And that Shutter Island is also a film where... Now, Shutter Island is a twist-ending film.
Yeah.
Shutter Island is a film where after the ending you have to go back and watch the film again and you see it a whole new light. Inception is not a twist-ending film.
Nope.
There are no twists per se in that idea in the film. There are developments in the plot. There are maybe surprises in the plot. There are complications, but there are no M. Night twists in this film. Anybody who tells you that wasn't paying attention, didn't get it. And if you know someone who saw the film and was confused by it, you make sure they're not driving.
Yeah, have them get checked.
Yeah.
because there's really nothing confusing about it.
It might be neurological damage.
You know,
Make sure they're not ingesting mercury.
Well, here's the problem.
Check the water, tap water. That
You are expected to pay attention during Inception. So maybe that's part of the problem.
A lot of people out there now are passive viewers. Everything has to be spoon-fed to you. If you have to think, and this is not a big thinking film either.
No,
this isn't.
Everything is laid out real nice and neat.
This is not
You
Memento.
just have to pay attention.
This is not Memento.
Right, exactly.
This isn't a David Lynch film.
Right.
This is this is a film where you really do want to kind of follow it.
Right.
You know, they're not just. This isn't You, Me, and Dupree.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, it just see it. Don't listen to people that they were confused. Just pay attention, and you will be fine.
Yes.
That's the only advice we can give you. You know, we obviously can't talk too much about it because we don't want to give anything away. Not that there's any, like, real twist, but you should just go see it. That's just all we can really say.
See that and see Despicable Me.
Sure, I have to see it myself, so.
Yes.